Good morning and happy Saturday. I hope everyone had an amazing sleep last night. It's now 8:38, so you can see I did because normally I've already posted much earlier. But today is my day off. I never get a Saturday off, so today is wake up late and stay in your pajamas all day today. That's my plan. Anyway, today we're going to talk a little bit about forgiveness and um, think about a person that you're still angry or upset with, hurt by, and think about all the emotions associated with that. And then ask yourself, how does that help me holding on to this? Forgiveness is letting go. Okay. And a lot of us in our age group have multiple things that we probably need to let go so that we can have a healthier, much happier, freer life. Forgiveness is dismissing your demand that somebody owes you something, that maybe the person didn't meet your expectations. Maybe the person didn't treat you fairly, just did a bunch of stuff. And in our minds, like, hey, they owe me an apology or, they need to fix it. They need to do something differently. And those are the things that we decide, according to the way that we're raised, the way that we're taught. But then the problem is how it affects us, how it affects me as a person when I'm angry about the past. I'm angry about the way that somebody treated me. How is that affecting me? Normally, it's something that you often will talk about, you often will think about. And even if it's in your subconscious, I always say it's like a virus scan. It's always running. You just don't clearly see it, but it's running in your background. And it's just that constant reminder, that thing that keeps you depressed, that thing that keeps you angry, hurting, you know. So forgiveness is not only setting someone else free, it's also setting yourself free. And that's the blessing in it all is when you yourself are free, when I'm free. Um, so I'm setting someone free from the consequences of falling short of my standard, falling short of my expectation. I'm letting you free because you should have been a better mother and you weren't. But I'm setting you free because that's all up here on me. And sometimes we have to look at, can that person be a better person? Or have I just decided that this is where they need to be, period? So when we're upset about things, we have to think about that. Um, if that person's a pervert, they're a pervert. If that person is a little slow, they just a little slow. If that person's a mean person, that person is mean. If that person's not a good parent, they're just not a good parent. If you have a husband, they're not a good husband. There's not a good husband. No matter how far you want to set that bar, they're not going to meet it because they're not a good husband. They're not a good wife. They're not a good friend. You have to do that radical acceptance. It is what it is, and that's when that comes into play. My desire for someone to be better doesn't make people better. Okay? You just have to accept it that, this just wasn't a good fit. Or how can I love that person knowing they can't meet my expectations, right? If I have a lower IQ, I'm just not going to be a rocket scientist, no matter how much my parents want me to be. Um, what was the name of that movie? There was a movie, it's called The Other Sister. And in that movie, she had challenges mentally, and her mother would put her in all these classes, dance classes, art classes, and all these classes. And at one point they're having this intense emotional conversation. Her mother says, I just want you to be better. And that was from a place of love. And the daughter looked at her and she said, but I'm not better. And that was like, the life changing part of the movie. So for us, one of the things that will help us to let go is realizing that people are not always better just because we want them to. Just because we want to say, well, that's not what a mother should do. That's not what a father should do. Guess what? If they did it, it is what it is, and we have to accept it, learn how to let it go, and move on. It doesn't mean that we got to be best friends. It doesn't mean that I have to stay married. It doesn't mean that I have to have this extra special relationship with my parents. It doesn't mean any of that. It's simply about you, me, being free to live our life and to be happy instead of being angry with people for falling short in our lives. We have to learn how to let it go, how to free that person. And by freeing that person from the debt that we think they owe, we're really freeing ourselves so that we can move forward and have a great life. So let's practice forgiveness today. If you have spare time, sit around, think about anybody that you're still angry with. And you know what? Start working towards letting it go so that you can be free. Have a great Saturday, and let's make today amazing.